Today, we will be joined by a psychiatrist and psychologist from St. Luke's Medical Center. Bakit mas vulnerable itong mga Gen Z kaysa mga mas matatanda?
They are very vocal. They're so into social media. Psychiatric disorders is not the weakness in the character. It's really a disorder.
For years, she has helped countless Filipinos understand that mental health is not a weakness, but part of being human.
Alam mo, kung hindi maayos ang utak mo, hindi rin maayos ang health mo. Ang males, they are prone to complete suicides as compared to females.
In this episode, we will dive into the quiet struggles many face, from burnout to anxiety. What are the early warning
Yung
signs?
pagiging irritable mo, sobra kang naiinis. Not your usual self. Sobrang nagagalit. Actually, narinig ko yan sa isang nag-suicide. You just have to dance and move freely.
And how compassion, awareness, and better systems can make healing possible.
Bakit kayo magbabash sa mga buhay ng ibang tao na wala ka namang pakialam doon?
Bashing, trolling, it's un-Filipino.
It's inhumane.
Please welcome to the R.Y.T Show on record, Dr. Bernadette Manalo-Arcena. Mga kababayan, maraming salamat po sa inyong patuloy na suporta dito sa R.Y.T Global Media. Kami po ay lubos na nagagalak sa inyo pong ipinakitang suporta at panonood sa amin pong mga content mula sa mga explainer, podcast, hanggang sa mga dokumentaryo. Kung gusto nyo po kami po ay magpatuloy, itong amin pong independent media and content creation ay magpatuloy hanggang sa magawa pa namin ang maraming mga kwento, makabuluhang dokumentaryo at makabuluhang mga content dito po sa R.Y.T Global Media. Please supportahan niyo po kami sa amin pong mga social media channels, especially po sa amin pong YouTube channel. Ito pong nakalagay po ng mga social media handles sa baba, dito po nakalagay. Please, huwag niyo po kaming bitawan. Tuloy lang po ang inyong suporta dahil nakasalalay po ang aming pananatili, nakasalalay po ang aming paggawa ng mga content sa inyo pong mga suporta. Maraming salamat po. Thank you, Doc. Thank you for joining me tonight. Tonight kasi gabi tayo.
Ay, okay.
Thank you for joining me. But before we dive in, Doc, I just want to remind our viewers and listeners that just a quick note lang po, no? This episode touches on sensitive topics like depression, anxiety, suicide, and emotional distress. So, if at any point of our conversation you feel uncomfortable, please take a pause or reach out for help, no? If you or someone you know is struggling, you can call the NCMH crisis hotline at 1553 or the DOH mental health crisis helpline at 0966 351-4518 or 0908-639-2673. Hindi po kayo nag-iisa, mga kababayan. Lalo na po yung mga pinagdadaanan. And help is always available. Tulad po ni Dr. Bernadette Arcena, she's always available for you sa mga nangangailangan. Doc, today, okay, napakabigat po ng topic natin. Today, mental health has become a major concern, not just globally but also here in the Philippines. No? Habang gumaganda, lumalago yung technology, parang parami din yung mga sakit na may in relation to mental health, no? So we have seen heartbreaking stories, actresses, celebrities, influencers, social media content creators na nagkakaganon, di ba? May mga na-record na ganon, no? So that's why conversations on those death, ang nakafocus ngayon is about the youth. the youth depression, the social media pressures, toxicity sa social media, pati po access sa mental health care. No? Doc, bago unahin ko na yung katanungan dyan sa pagdating sa mental health, how would you describe the current mental health climate in the Philippines from your view at St. Luke's Medical Center and your work with patients?
Actually, nung pandemic, tumaas ang incidence ng anxiety and depression. Pero if you look at this study at Harvard, JV, it runs also the same. Kasi dun sa Harvard research, nakalagay dun that there would be an increased incidence during the pandemic of anxiety, depression, PTSD o post-traumatic stress disorder, at saka domestic violence. So, tinitingnan ko dun sa time ng pandemic. Sabi ko, sandali lang, bakit pare-pareho talaga? And then there were reported incidents, no, na nag-aaway-aaway yung pamilya sa loob ng bahay. Kasi nga, first time siguro nag-stay sa 24 hours sa bahay or more than a month. No? So, I think it holds true. And if you take a look at it on the post-pandemic, it remains Nandyan pa rin yung remnants. So there is an increase.
Ang cause ay dahil magkakasama sila, lagi nakakulong, gano'n?
It's all actually the totality of everything, no? Yung pandemic mismo, magkakaroon ng sakit, or may namatay sa pamilya, nawalan ng trabaho, or first time nagsama-sama sa bahay.
Yeah. So, meron tayong nakalap na data, Doc, that between January and June 2025 alone, almost 2,000 Filipinos reportedly died by suicide, and attempts continue to rise. So, as you mentioned, post-pandemic recovery, economic stress, political division, and social media toxicity have all combined to affect the nation's psyche. What are the most common mental health issues you now see ngayon, post-pandemic na, among Filipinos? Anxiety ba, depression, burnout, and how have these changed in the last 5 years?
Actually, anxiety and depression are rising. Aside from that, actually nga dati yung schizophrenia, parang hindi na natin masyadong nakikita, no? But it's more of other things. It's more of addiction, internet addiction. There is also addiction sa games, gambling, no, scatter, no? Uso na yan ngayon, no? And tumutuloy yung yung marijuana, shabu, alcohol. So nakikita natin, wait, what is this, no? So bullying in social media. Ang mga kabataan natin ngayon is they're very adventurous, but at the same time they are volatile. Sobra silang nakikinig sa social media when it comes to how they perceive themselves, their self-image. Parang kailangan madami kang like sa social media para mabuhay ka.
Sir, Doctor, there's a study, I read about that among the Gen Zs now, 73% admitted to struggling with mental health issues. I want to know why. Bakit mas vulnerable itong mga Gen Z kaysa millennials, kaysa mga mas matatanda? Bakit anong meron sa generation na to?
They are
lalo
more
na yung Gen
outspoken.
Alpha?
Yeah, they're more outspoken. They voice out how they feel. Ang mga katulad ko siguro and the other older ones, they kept it to themselves because you have to perceive yourself as somebody strong. No? Unlike ngayon, what you see is what you get. That's how they are. They are very vocal. They're so into social media. That's what I see. Para bang pag isa na ang like mo.
May mga ganun ba?
Yeah, but isa na yung like mo, parang sobrang depressed na even your crush didn't check you out.
May ganun yung sila
mga ganun sila
sensitive?
That's so the fragility of the current Gen Zs right now. Nakikita mo, but they're they're so adventurous, no? They're not scared to try on things. Kaya siguro, outspoken sila. And that could explain also the possibly rise in psychiatric issues with the young.
So, totoo yung mga joke, Doc, na mahina daw yung mga nilalang ngayon kaysa...
You know,
nagiging joke na lang ngayon ng mga magulang natin eh. Di ba? Pag mabilis kang mag-emote, kasi yung mga pamangkin ko, yung mga bata, pag nagtatampo-tampo, di ba parang lagi nilang itong mga batang to, dati kung ano-anong ginagawa sa atin ng mga kabataan tayo. Pero
let's always remember that psychiatric disorders is not the weakness in the character. It's really a disorder. It's a psychological or a journey we're in. Madami siya talagang pinagdaanan. So, yung sinasabi na weakness of character, yeah, it's kind of a hearsay though. Pero nakikita kasi natin na hindi lang siya kasi kahinaan. Or sabihin nila, mawawala din yan, inom lang tayo. Diba? Mag-soju na tayo, okay na tayo. But that's not how it is, no? Hindi nawawala ang depression. Kasi it's a process. At tuloy-tuloy na, diba, sa mga ibang mga kilala natin, no? Na nawala sa buhay, nakita natin that they really struggled, no? Like the famous comedian.
Robin Williams.
Wow. Idol ko pa yun eh.
Yeah.
I felt so heartbroken when I see him that way. Sabi ko, naku, kung nandun na ako, sana ginawat ko siya. Something like that, no? But, yun eh, it's a struggle. It's something wherein they have been hiding all along or alam ng mga tao.
Yeah.
Yun nga lang, siguro, kung si Robin Williams ay hindi siya naging artista, siguro matagal na siyang wala.
Oh? Bakit?
The possibility that the movies, no, kept him going. Kasi it was an outlet for him to express how he feels. Kasi napansin mo minsan, pag magsalita siya, ang bilis. Sabi ko, naku, ito yung mga episodes niya. But the problem is, if you use substances, like alcohol, or it really makes your mind so different, no? You
mentioned the mabilis magsalita. So, mabilis magsalita is one of the symptoms ba? Or kumbaga parang phases? Or ano tawag doon? Yung parang sintomas na ay
but you have to know the
pinagdadaanan?
patient also well, no? Kapag mabilis magsalita, hindi naman lahat yun ay may sakit, no? May mga ibang tao talaga mabilis magsalita. But if you look at it on the point wherein you saw the patient before, at so sobra, parang alam mo yun, parang hindi mo siya mapigilan. Parang train, go, 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 no? So, that can be a sign of bipolarity of mood or bipolar disorder. So, part kasi ng trabaho ko sa psychiatrist is not just to interview, pero nakikita mo sa actuation sila, sa behavior nila, sa pagsasalita nila na, sa dali lang, parang iba. Hindi mo sila mapigilan magsasalita talaga.
Aside sa mabilis magsalita, ano pa yung mga senyales na may pinagdadaanan tong depression?
Well, you can see them having various moods. Iba-iba. Usually, pag depressed ka, sobrang down ka talaga. Sobrang down, no? As in, every minute, every second, you're down. Kita mo yan on how they talk. They will not talk to you face-to-face. Nakaganon sila, parang tumitingin na sila. Minsan, nagbumuni-muni, nagbablank stares, no? At parang, alam mo yun, paano sa ibang mundo sila. That's how they are.
Doc, I just have to read this data that for understanding of everyone, no? In the Philippines, Doc, there are 3.6 million who live with mental, neurological, or substance use disorders, according to WHO. 1.1 million plus cases are major depressive disorder. 520,000 are bipolar disorder. Schizophrenia is 213,000. Less than one mental health worker per 100,000 Filipinos. Ganyan po konti. Then, mental health issues cost the economy 68.9 billion pesos yearly, or around 0.4% of the GDP. And despite the awareness, stigma and cost remain the top barriers, according to Harvard study. And as I mentioned earlier, Gen Z 73% admit to struggling. Now, Doc, the WHO notes that mental health receives only 2% of health budget worldwide. How does the Philippines' investment and infrastructure compare? And what is the biggest bottleneck you face as a doctor or a psychiatrist?
It's really the stigma.
Is the stigma?
Yung bang papasok ka sa clinic ng isang psychiatrist. No? It's still there. Though,
May hiya.
honestly, mas umokay siya ngayon as compared before. And I have noticed that the young are the ones who would tell their parents, come on, I need help. No? So, that's a good thing. Ang mga parents, usually, they would say, hindi, wala akong sakit. Wala kang sakit, anak. Kaya mo naman siya. And because of the fact that the parents would see it as a failure on their part of their parenting. So, para sa akin, importante na they have to listen to their children. When the children would say, hey, I need help, please do so, help them.
So, how does our family-centered culture sometimes prevent people from seeking mental health support?
You go back again to, is it accepted na meron kang problems with behavior? Kasi 'di ba pag mga mental retarded, mga autistic usually meron tayong stigma na sandali lang tanggalin natin siya sa picture kasi nakakasira dun sa success ng family. So para sa akin it's still involving the people who are undergoing a lot of emotional stress. Kailangan talaga maging open tayo sa treatment. Kasi para siyang nagpapagamot ng sa isang internist na, okay, I have diabetes, I have to treat it. No? Dito naman parang, okay, I have problems with my behavior. You just have to continue the treatment. So, iyon ang problema. Parang we supported more yung may cholesterol, may hypertension, may asthma, kaysa sa mga pasyente na may depression. Kasi, alam mo, kung hindi maayos ang utak mo, hindi rin maayos ang health mo.
Yeah.
Maapektuhan din and vice versa. Yes.
Yeah. Not just your neuro, pati yung pagkain mo, maapektuhan yan, di ba?
Yeah, kaya we always would suggest to patients na live a healthy lifestyle. Na kapag may medications ka, syempre ibang gamot nakakataba. So, we really have to make sure that you eat healthy, you sleep well, and then you exercise.
So, based sa'yo, sa experience mo as a psychiatrist, and sa mga patients mo, okay na ba ngayon? May nag-i-improve na ba yung pagtutulong o pagsusupport ng mga family sa mga may patient? Or kadalasan sa mga pasyente mo, yung mga pasyente na personal lang, individual initiative lang?
It's various actually, no. I cannot include na or conclude, no, na mas okay na ngayon. Although there's an improvement when it comes to acceptance of going to the psychiatrist for treatment.
Doc, what patterns of intergenerational trauma do you observe? Anxiety, fear, shame, passed down within the Filipino families?
If you take a look at it, no, ang kagandahan kasi ng Filipino family, we are closely knitted. And we are very religious. And I think this helps a lot, no? If I compare it with the other foreign countries, kasi they're alone, di ba? So, parang
Plus
ang
malamig pa yung
concept
ibang lugar.
But I think it's more of yung mas madami ang gabi kaysa sa umaga.
Ganun?
Yeah. There's what we term as seasonal affective disorder that when it strikes, no, it's more, usually it happens pag mas mahaba ang gabi kaysa sa umaga. Okay. Because they have less time to work or perhaps they have less social interaction. Parang pandemic na hindi ka nakakalabas, hindi ka na sa bahay. Not unless if you enjoy staying at home, no?
Then, how does the OFW family structure affect naman the mental and emotional health of both parents working abroad and their children that naiwan dito?
there should be good parental figure, kahit figure lang, like lolo, lola, auntie, uncle, to help, no, with the parenting. However, if there is no good parenting figure, so halimbawa, walang nanay, walang tatay, walang imahen ng isang family member, we have seen na pag age 10, if there's an abandonment of either of the parental figures, mas mataas ang incidence ng anxiety and depression. Now, it is very important that kapag OFW, hindi naman natin masisi sila ang baba ng peso, di ba? So, kailangan din talaga may constant communication between the family member who is away sa mga anak nila. And always make sure na may nagbabantay talaga sa kanila na nakakapag-provide ng good parental image. Kasi kung wala yun, yung araw-araw nila struggle yan eh. I've seen children going astray or leading astray kasi sabihin nila, kasi feeling ko hindi ako love ng family ko. Or they would say na sana nasa pamilya kami, dapat dito na kami sa Pilipinas kasi nga ang hirap. And they would go into drugs, bad influence with peer group. Paano natin makontrol yun? Walang parent eh. Yun ang isang struggle ng isang
OFW
parent.
family.
Yes. Nakita natin.
Tapos mahirap pa. Hindi natin alam kung yung mga anak ninyo o anak natin naiiwan ba sa tamang tao. Paano kung yung katulong mo, yung yaya mo?
Kung sinasaktan sila.
Diba?
Actually, one thing also, you have to be very careful also with sexual abuse doon sa mga naiiwanan mo na mga kamag-anak. Sexual abuse doesn't happen sa mga taong hindi kilala. If you base it on studies, ang mga nag-aabuso ng mga bata sa bahay are the people inside the house. So be careful, no? I've seen it.
Talaga?
Yeah, it's pulsating.
So parang bantay sa lakay sila. Parang alam mo sila na yung
Yes,
diba?
Yun ang sad to say na minsan unbelievable and that at times you would not feel that it is true pero totoo yan based natin doon sa figures.
And this sexual abuse can cause also mental health disorders.
It can destroy the life of a young one forever. If these are not settled, if these are not given attention. Diba, hindi naniwala yung parents na naabuso siya ng sarili niyang uncle. Tapos siya pang biniblame. Ano nangyari sa bata?
Okay. Doc, I have seen that suicide remains disproportionately high daw among men. May nabasa ako that, for instance, 47 of 54 cases in Cebu, for example, last year, karamihan daw lalaki. What cultural or systemic factors make Filipino men more vulnerable?
Well, let's take a look at males lang, no? Because based on studies, ang males, they are prone to complete suicides. As compared to females, maarte kasi completed suicide meaning to say, nagpakamatay sila talaga.
Okay.
And they use weapons. They use deadly weapons like a gun or kutsilyo because they have access to that. Ang mga babae kasi, maarte. So at times you would cry or would have their telenovelas and they'll be happy or they will be having this chismosa times with their friends. No? So parang nauudlot. No? Or kasi mas expressive ang babae. So, if they feel bad, if they're sad, guys tend to hide because of the machismo image. Oh my God, I should not cry because they might feel like I'm badying or what, no? So, there's always the concept na, guys should be strong. Guys should not be emotionally affected. Diba? Kaya nga uminom kayo eh.
Correct.
Diba?
So, yun yung nagiging factor.
The concept of that the guy should be strong, guy should be macho, the girls are okay lang kasi they are crybabies or they're chismosa. ito mga factors eh. Kaya nababawasan, mga babae expressive eh. So when they're expressive, they talk their mind. They're not scared. You guys are scared to say na, gosh, I'm sad. Tapos sasabihin ng mga barkada mo, ano ka ba? Para kang, ewan. Ba't mo nasabi yun?
Pero how do you compare, Doc, yung data ng mga mga may ganitong kaso sa urban tsaka sa rural? Mas marami ba dito sa urban?
Yes.
Mas marami sa rural?
More in urban. Kasi sa usually, this is based on studies lang. Sa urban areas kasi more access, more stressed. More struggles as compared to sa probinsya. Kaya if you've noticed, people would go, during the pandemic, the people would go to the provinces and they would feel good. And I have a lot of friends also who would go into farming. Balik sa lupa, balik sa buhay na relax ka lang. And I think I would love that. Diba? Yung bang pa-fishing ka na lang. Although, ang sarap ng feeling na ganun, diba? As compared to when you're in the urban areas, you are forced to work.
Yeah.
You're forced to see the struggles there.
To find money.
Look for money. Adapt and adjust to the struggles in day-to-day living.
Hindi ba siguro hindi rin ba nakatulong kung bakit mababa sa numbers yung rural is because they don't have the access also?
Possibly that could be. Pero struggles in mental health or healthcare delivery is high. Mas madami access na talaga dito. Now, there were studies noting that why is it that in Iloilo, there are factors, madaming depressive symptoms na nakikita. Pero if you take a look at it, mas madami kasing psychiatrists sa Iloilo City as compared to other areas, no? Or provinces.
Okay, Doc. Ito, let's talk about this. And very timely talaga to. Filipinos are known for kindness and humor. Palatawa tayo, mabilis tayong...
Yeah.
I mean, may puso naman tayo. Pero pagdating sa online space, isa rin tayo sa pinakamalala, pinaka-cruel na mga netizens. The same culture that values community can sometimes fuel cancel culture, the trolling, and silent suffering, all rooted in deeper social and psychological patterns. You observe how online culture has become toxic. Alam mo yun, Doc, sa SOCMED. What does this say about our collective state of mind as a nation?
We have this term as manana. We have inggit-inggit, no? We have comparing. And I believe we are not kind at times when it comes to bashing. Naririnig ko na yun, bashing, ano pa. Pag may mga comments in social media, talagang balat sibuyas tayo. We respond immediately. Ako, dededma ko lang. Why should you respond to somebody whom you don't know, di ba? For me, your life should not depend social media should not define you. Yeah. It's the people who are around you. It's the people whom you deal with. It's who you are, di ba? Kaya nga we can live without social media. If you think it's too toxic, cut it out. Deactivate. What? You don't need that, di ba? In your life, what is important is your day-to-day, the people whom you are interacting with on daily basis, your work that sustains you, the people who gives you an optimistic view about yourself. It's, you have to protect yourself. If you're going to deal with the social media, it's really horrifying, no? When I was new before in dealings with social media, I got so affected then, no? Yeah. And I saw before na there was a negative concept about psychiatry. So, nilagay pa naman sa social media ko yan. Wala akong ginawa. Hindi ko siya binura. Hindi, inayaan ko lang siya. Kasi for me, ang magja-judge niyan yung mga taong nagbabasa, hindi naman ako. And for me, that means to say na something really affected her with what I said. So, that's her opinion. It's not my opinion. So, if somebody would tell you, hey, you're ugly, you look so bad, that's your opinion, hayaan mo siya. Diba? Hindi,
Wag mo lang
hindi yan
pansinin.
ikaw.
Ignore lang.
Why should you not? Why should you be affected? That's their opinion. It's not your opinion coming from you. So always protect your mind.
What can you say about cancel culture now?
Yung culture natin.
Cancel culture po.
Ano yun? Yung
parang,
tatanggalin? Remove?
Dati kasi online bashing, parang ganun eh. Now they call it cancel culture.
What's that?
No, meaning if you have done something or if you say something na against sa opinion nila, they will cancel you. Pag tutulungan ka ng mga tao, like for example, in social media, mga grupo like Kakampinks, Yellows, DDS, and these groups, they have groups like that.
This is the problem kasi they're forming groups. And ang problema lang kung ikaw ang binabash ng group na yan. 'Di ba? So, doon ka nagkakaproblema na, oh my God, ang dami nilang nagbabash sa akin. So, that overwhelming feeling might really affect you. So, if I were you, pag may mga ganun na mga bagay, get it out. If you don't need it, cancel them. Importante lang din naman na protektahan mo utak mo. Kasi if you kept on trying to, parang nutrition yan eh. Good and bad nutrition. If you provide your mind with good nutrition, di ba, it will grow. If you provide bad nutrition, ano mangyayari sa utak mo? Mabubulok. So, don't do that to yourself.
Okay. Doc, let's talk about the religion. How do colonial mentality and religion shape the Filipino tendency to repress emotion or avoid confrontation?
We have different cultures or religions in our country, di ba? Pinakamataas dun is being Catholic or Roman Catholic. Meron din tayong percentage of other like Christians na Iglesia ni Cristo. Alam mo, there should be respect in dealing with the different religions kasi that's how they are. You cannot change it. No? Ang maganda lang sa atin is that though we belong to different religious organizations or anong tawag mo doon, no? Sect, no? Or group, for me, no? Parang may respeto naman tayo sa isa't isa. Though, ang problema lang kapag may mga elections.
Yes,
Doon
especially
nagkaka-problema,
political.
nagkaka-issues ng political and the religious groups. But for me, I don't mind. That's how you are. That's, kung kung mag-vote kayo sa isang gusto ninyo, that's your own right. No? So, may mga bagay na kaya natin that we will be affected. Pero pag may mga bagay na hindi mo naman kailangan maging involved ka doon, then don't be. You really have to do things that will make your mind clearer and not dirtier when it comes to your own concept about yourself.
May nabanggit ka, you mentioned about political, nagkakaroon ng division. What can you say about those relationships, friends, na nagkakaroon ng friendship over dahil magkaiba sila ng opinion? Anong
Mahirap kasi pag hindi kayo
ba't may ganun?
magkasundo. Well, siguro, extreme na yan. Extreme na yan. Para sa akin, that should not deter you nga, di ba? May mga couples naman who belong to different religious culture pero they're still together. So, it depends eh. Depends. May mga iba dyan, respeto lang.
Yeah.
Respeto.
Respect
There
is
should
very
always
important.
be respect. There should always be na, okay, this is one division wherein we could not tackle and we agree to disagree.
Sa
That's how
Sokmed,
it is.
ang ano kasi ngayon, Doc, pag harapan, hindi nagko-confront. But in SOCMED, yung magtita, magkapatid, nag-aaway.
Kasi yun ang problema. Hindi tayo nag-uusap. Gusto natin social media ng social media. Dun kay bashing and bashing. So, bakit kayo magbabash sa mga buhay ng ibang tao na wala ka naman pakialam dun?
Correct.
So, you have to be, you have to be protective of yourself. You have to know where you can, give your opinions with. And don't create the victim or the chaotic ones na gusto nila mag-away-away. May mga ganun kasi personalities, gusto nila may away-away.
Yeah. Doc, na-mention mo naman yung religion kanina. In your experience, how does yung faith play the role of healing and hindering role when it comes to mental health recovery.
Always remember that when you have faith and that when you have your religious belief as strong, no, and when you have when you look up to your religious leaders as persons whom you can emulate with, no, I think that helps a lot, no. Imagine mo pag may mga chaos, political chaos, di ba, importante sa atin na, okay, sama-sama tayo. Bakit nagsama-sama naman tayo nung mga ganitong mga pagsubok?
The concept of hiya or pakikisama, how do this affect our willingness to speak up or ask for help?
Yan, that's a problem because when it comes to political issues, dun natitest yung are you in, are you out? So, well, this may be controversial, but if you are a political leader, you should be serving the country. And not one political leader that you are connected with.
You should not be divisive.
You should be you should not. Kasi kaya ka nga nilagay dyan ng tao para kang mag-serve sa tao, hindi mag-serve sa isang political leader. That's my opinion, ha?
Doc, yung mga may sakit ng ganyan, ang kadalasan na comment ng mga tao, magdasal ka lang, laban lang, sometimes said with love, pero sometimes then, it reflects how society minimizes mental health pain, di ba? Tama ba na ganun ang dapat? Ikaw, kung ikaw ay may compassion sa isang tao na may problema sa mental health, ganun ba dapat na reaction mo? Dasal lang, laban lang? Or is it a correct comment or
for
message?
People siguro who are family members, it's just normal to say that. Kasi at times you don't know what to say. Hindi mo alam ano sasabihin mo? Or at times you can say, you know what, I don't know what to say. But hugs. That can help actually. And you can also, of course, it can help.
Yeah.
Yes, it can help. Gestures of being kind, of being quiet, or being silent, or just not saying anything. Actually, at times when patients are in distraught, I just see them and I just be there. They actually appreciate that.
Okay, let's go, Doc, sa mga practical or personal insights. Let's bring this closer to home. Kasi I'm sure na marami ang may problemang pamilya, bahay, ngayon, no? So many viewers might feel something is off. Constant fatigue, irritability, loss of focus, but don't know if it's just stress. Kasi lagi nating sinasagot, stress lang to. Pero yun pala, sign of na siya, mental health problem or something deeper, di ba? So, ito, Doc, ito ang laging tanong ng mga kababayan natin. What are the early warning signs of burnout, of anxiety, of depression that people often miss?
Yung pagiging irritable mo, sobra kang naiinis. Not your usual self. Sobrang nagagalit. Those can actually be signs of burnout. Yung bang hindi mo nagagawin trabaho mo na because parang sa first page ka pa rin. Taga mo sa first page pa, hindi ka ma-move on dun. No? Parang hindi gumagana ang utak mo, clouding ka. Those can be signs of burnout.
Okay. Why do Filipinos still resist therapy?
The stigma. Still there.
Okay. And what misconceptions persist among psychiatrists and psychologists? Misconceptions.
Siguro I think one of that factor would be ang mga gamot namin, nakaka-addict. No? Yun palagi ko naririnig. Hindi namin iniinom yung gamot kasi magiging dependent ka doon. Yun yung mga factors na kailangan i-educate namin yung mga pasyente.
What simple practical steps dapat that they can take to protect their mental health day to day?
Actually, narinig ko yan sa isang nag-suicide. You just have to dance and move freely. Just walk. and
Wait,
never
wait.
look back.
That person ba survived naman?
No.
Yun daw ang gagawin niya.
Yun ang naririnig ko na I think I would be a good advice to people who would think about, ending their lives. To just dance and move freely, never walking back or talk back. Just move and walk para lang tuloy pa rin ang buhay. So this is on a positive note. But then, they didn't survive. So kaya nga naisip ko, sayang no, hindi nila na put into actions yung mga sinabi nila.
Sinasabi nila.
Kasi hindi na nga kaya eh. Hindi na nila kaya. Kaya nga, tayo mga, like for example, family members ng mga pasyente na to, kailangan alam natin yung signals. Yung red warning signs. Kasi, minsan magsasabi sila or kung mahilig nga sila sa SOCMED, minsan magsasabi sila na, I will end my life, I will do this, I will jump. Those are really, meron isang Miss Universe, runner-up, New York nangyari. She jumped off the building of her apartment in New York. She's very, very good. She's a lawyer. Fourth runner-up siya or second runner-up, hindi ko na maalala eh. But I saw her SOCMED. Wala talagang signs. Wala talaga. You just jump off. So, kailangan mo makita yung mukha ng depression. At times, hindi mo makikita yon. Kasi what you see in SOCMED is different from real life. Hindi ibig sabihin happy siya sa SOCMED. Happy din siya sa real life.
Sino ang makakita? Kayong mga kamag-anak? Or
Mag-anak nila,
or yung
syempre.
mismo rin, siya mismo?
At times, they would give signals. Pero, it would depend if alam mo, kailangan parang detective na, my gosh, she's suffering already from this. Or dapat ang family member should be aware na, sandali lang, mukhang hindi siya maayos. Pa-admit na natin, patgamot na natin. She has to be saved.
Is it true that sometimes yung mga expressive na magsabi, ay, magpapakamatay ako, sila pa yung hindi nagtutuloy?
Perhaps they might have some borderline personality disorder, no? Kasi they usually would give threats and they will not do it. Ang problem natin is we should also take into consideration their suicidal ideations or their tendencies kasi kailan mo masasabi na hindi nila gagawin. So for us, whether it's true or not, yung suicidal gestures nila, we have to believe that they will do it. Kailan natin sila gamutin. At hindi natin sabihin, ay hindi, ba't palagi niya sinasabi na magpapakamatay siya, hindi naman yun nagagawa. No, never say that. As I've said, be kind.
As a person na kung sakaling, for example lang ako, sakaling meron na akong mental health issue.
Problem.
At malala na, yun lang ang gagawin ko. The first thing that I have to do is to move freely, dance, or ano po mga kailangan ko?
You have to seek help na.
Ako nga, I am a professional, but I admit that I really don't know what are, kumbaga, the first aid, the first things to do.
Well, seek a doctor na. If you think na you're losing control of your life and that you think you're at the end. Pero ako naman, ang in-encourage ko always is that when you have the signs already, seek help na. Huwag mo nga abutin na nasa dulo ka na. Kasi ang hirap gamutin pag nasa dulo ka na. It's just like cancer. Pag cancer, maagapan siya kaagad on the first few symptoms. Pag malala na yung pag-terminal cancer na, how can we? It would be very difficult.
Doc, what are the realistic options available if ako, sakali, or sino mang patient na nanonood sa atin ngayon wants to seek help but takot na mahusgahan?
There are a lot of psychiatrists on board. You can seek help sa National Center for Mental Health. Actually, they're very active right now. And they have their hotlines, no? Which you mentioned a while ago. Kung hindi ka pa sure, pero para sa akin, importante na you really have to seek help immediately. Wag nang patumpik-tumpik, go ahead and see your doctor. Problema namin, ang dami naming pasyente, no?
Sa inyo sa
Pero,
St. Luke's.
what you can do is to go to the ER. Kasi kung sa ER ka, maagapan ka kaagad. And that we, as doctors, patawag kami kaagad. And we have patients have the right to be seen immediately by us.
May mga cases ba na gumaling na tapos bumalik din?
Because depression can be relapsing. It can be on and off. It can go back, especially if hindi ka uminom ng medications or hindi ka pumupunta sa doctor mo for treatment or to do therapy sessions. It can come back.
Doc, if there's one misconception about therapy you wish every Filipino understood, what would it be?
Therapy can actually help a lot, no? Ang problema kasi minsan sa therapy is that nag-stop na yung pasyente kasi they feel like they're okay. So, never stop your therapy not unless if your therapist would say so. Tapos, if your patient or if your doctor would say na, isama natin to sa gamot, gawin mo. So, therapy and medications really help a lot.
Meron ba mga Doc, may mga free therapies din na binibigay sa ngayon, lalo na doon sa mga hindi makaka-afford?
Yes. We have free treatment at the National Center for Mental Health. Sa mga provinces meron din. To mention also, I also work at sa Bilingad in Pampanga, San Fernando.
Okay.
So madaming mga centers na may psychiatrists.
Doc, let's talk about the macro aspect naman or the policy, workplace, and education aspect, no? While awareness kasi is improving, the system itself is struggling to keep up, right? Ang daming kaso, ang daming ang may alam, pero alam natin yung facilities natin hindi naman ganun kasapat pa, no? Especially outside Metro Manila. For instance, in Baguio City, may research kami that over 1,500 people accessed mental health services in the first 8 months of 2025, up from 1,000 in 2024. That's progress, but still a fraction of those in need. At an institutional level, what are the biggest barriers in extending mental health care to underserved Filipinos, especially in provinces and island communities?
There are psychiatrists at Baguio General Hospital. Sa mga probinsya, merong mga psychiatrists eh. But I think yung dilemma lang minsan, una-una will be the number of psychiatrists, no? Like in our Alliance of Northern Central Luzon, there is, I think, 0.68 psychiatrists in a 100,000 population. Wow. So that's how bad it is, no? So, puno talaga. Second would be, I think, the extension of the delivery of the psychiatric services. Kasi like, for example, taga Baguio dyan ka, ang doctor mo, malalayo ka, sa Benguet ka, or ganun. Of course, no? It takes time for them to go in. And I think it's more financial also. And the concept na, pag magpatingin ka sa psychiatrist, may tama ka na. So there's still the stigma attached to it.
Doc, during the previous administration, I remember the president signed the mental health law, right?
We have the mental health law already.
Yeah. From your perspective, what has the mental health law achieved so far? And what remains missing in its implementation?
I think the mental health law is very important. And actually, I was one of those who actually made it on its baby journey for a
bill
while.
Pa lang.
Doon na kami, napasama na kami before, no?
Wow.
It was very difficult. Ilang years din yun, no? I was an officer then at the Philippine Psychiatric Association. So, it helps in the sense na nakikita na na ang mental health should be given credit or should be given importance. Kaya nga meron tayong persons with disability, can be psychosocial and mental disability, which is very important for our patients. No? With regards to services, I think we still need to improve it. No? Kasi there should be more implementation of advocacies, of implementation of the concerns of the PWDs, no, with psychiatric disorders. Parang kulang pa tayo doon. So I think we need to implement it more. Kahit na gumagawa na kami ng mental health caravans, like me, no, I go to social media for advocacies. Parang kulang pa rin efforts, no. Although I must say I'm very proud of what we have to achieve already. Pero we still need more organizations to be involved.
But are there still gaps between awareness and access?
There's still, especially in the provinces. Kasi like for example, there are certain provinces in Visayas and Mindanao na wala talagang psychiatrist. So mangyayari niyan, like taga sa Davao lang yung psychiatrist, malalayo sila. Like for example, ilang hours na biyahe. Tapos kailangan mong bumalik after 1 week. Minsan, hindi na bumabalik yung mga pasyente kasi malayo.
Should therapy and psychiatric consultations be integrated into PhilHealth or primary
It is
healthcare?
actually already in, I think schizophrenia is already in
PhilHealth.
sa PhilHealth. Still, other disorders are still not yet in. So, I think yun yung isang kailangan maayos.
Diba? Kasi yung hypertension,
Yes.
diabetes, kasama
Nandyan
na.
Oo. Pero yung schizophrenia pa lang sa PhilHealth
Yeah. Lalo na, we have the universal healthcare law. No? How important is early mental health care or screening in schools and workplaces? And what models could make that sustainable nationwide?
It should be implemented, especially in school, no? Kailangan sa mga, alam ko may mga guidance counselors naman sa schools, no? But as I've said, not all. So, importante din that there should be awareness of mental health on the part not only of having a guidance counselor, but it should be implemented already in subjects ang mental health care. For me, kasi importante din that the teachers should be allowed also to have their own mental health care, be protected. Kasi hindi lang estudyante.
Sila rin,
so,
no?
it should be everyone, I believe. Should be the teachers, meron silang good mental health care, at saka yung mga estudyante din. I think I read it somewhere in Japan. Meron sila talagang time to sleep. Yung ano na chair nila, pwede mo i-decline. Ganun daw sa tutulog
Same din sa, parang after lunch, they have the nap time.
They should have the nap time.
Yeah, same sa China.
Yes, they should have the time to just be themselves. No? Importante yun. And siguro, for the subjects, for me, mas importante siguro na less yung ginagawa ng mga estudyante sa bahay. Assignments or everything should be done in the school themselves. Para pag sa bahay, for me, because sa bahay, importante din that they go back to the balancing of having family bonding and for them to really unwind. Kasi they get so stressed out, ang daming bibit-bitin na gamit or actually i-study na sila, no? Pero para sa akin, importante na may time sila to rest and have a good sleep at night.
May work-life balance.
Yes.
Dapat.
Or study-life balance.
How about po sa corporate o sa workplace? Do you think corporate mental health programs are genuinely helping employees or they're
There's
mostly...
already the implementation of the mental health wellness. And it is, I believe, was allowed a 3-day mental health break. And if you go into a 7-day, you should have a psychiatrist having a medical certificate for you. They're working it out already.
Doc, let's go to the trending and culturally resonant issues, no? Kasi let's look at some current trends, no? The soft life movement, quiet quitting, ito yung mga terms na sikat eh. And even the rise of mental health influencers. May mga mental health influencers na pala, di ba? This shape Filipinos or how Filipinos talk about well-being today. So the question is, do you see quiet quitting or the soft life movement as healthy self-care or as a symptom of deeper burnout?
I'm not very sure about the soft life. What's that? Soft life, ano yun?
Baka lesser.
Yung dahan-dahan na.
Yeah.
Well, for me kasi, the most important thing is kung ano man ang label nun. No? But for me, the most important thing for me is that you wake up in the morning and that you feel like you have the positivity to continue your life. Now, of course, it's not always a very easy moments during the day. But I think you should have your mini breaks. Mini breaks means na may pahinga ka, meron kang time na rin, just rest for a while. Or you go out and have your important coffee or drink perhaps. Importante sa akin yun. Like in the clinic kasi I have more or less 10 or 12 hours. More or less in the clinic. So what I do is I have some time wherein I have short breaks lang. Mga 5-10 minutes lang. Or I eat. Kasi that's the time that I have to unwind a little bit so that I can, accept patients more. So whatever it is, I don't know if there are studies connected with it, but for me, you really have to start with your life with positivity and end the day of your life or at night, you end it with, the passivity. Passive, meaning to say, your passivity that you have accepted the day's adventures. So you start the day with positivity and you end the day with passivity.
Can you example lang po? Ano yung mga passivity?
When you say passivity, meaning to say may acceptance ka. Natapos na yung araw na to and we will have another day tomorrow. Meaning to say, when you say passive, kasi parang there's a quiet acceptance. Na okay, tapos na to, so wala na akong gagawin.
Yeah.
Hindi ka na magiging, don't activate it anymore.
Mag-ano ka na, relax
Don't
na.
activate it anymore, yeah.
How do you view mental health influencers? Are they helping break stigma or sometimes oversimplifying complex issues?
Well, it would be subjective, no? Kasi, okay lang naman may kasama kami sa pag-impluwensya sa mental health. Kasi, para sa amin, importante, the more the better, di ba? Kailangan talaga namin ng tulong ng lahat ng mga those who have good mental health advocacies. And if you are, dealing with trying to remove the stigma, fine, we'll go for it. Yeah. If you wanted to, stop the stigma, go ahead, I'll be with you. Or, it depends But if you're gonna say that, okay, don't take medications, of course, I will not be with you. So it depends. It's a case-to-case basis.
Doc, tayo madalas na tinatamaan po ng mga
stress,
calamities.
Ayan.
We have the post-disaster na tinatawag and post-pandemic trauma na still lingers, diba?
Yes.
Still linger today, no? Especially in communities hit by typhoons or yung mga conflict.
Yes.
Ang malala doon kung nasa conflict area na nga sila, tinatamaan pa sila ng bagyo, wala pa silang access, di ba? How should mental health services adapt to this or to those realities?
Actually, we usually go to far-flung areas. Then we do psychosocial processing. So, like ako, napunta ako sa summer, New Yolanda yata yun. So, we spent about a week there without water and everything.
What?
Yes. So, 1 week yata kami, punas-punas lang. Yeah, that's how it is. So, you have to connect with them. You have to be with them, no? So that you can feel the pulse. Hindi pwede yung zoom lang tayo. They wouldn't get it.
But you mentioned that Zoom, mga telehealth. Pero malaking tulong
That is
yan.
important. However, for those who are really victims and for those who are having manifestations already, importante din yung face-to-face. Zoom helps. No problems about that. But when it comes to, processing them, it's better that you do it face-to-face.
Doon sa mga ganyang example, mga evacuation, there are cases also ng mga sexual abuses doon. 'Di ba? May mga doon
Mahirap yan.
mahirap, 'di ba?
Totoo.
Kasi hindi lang naman ang dami niyo doon, families, victims, gathered in one place.
Yeah.
'Di ba? Hindi na nga sapat yung I'm sorry kung hindi naman siguro lahat, no? Pero doon sa government na hindi nakapagbibigay ng 3 times a day na pagkain, ng mga aids or tulong, kawawa, 'di ba?
Yes.
So, what should be the action na gagawin ng mga government natin?
Well, ang problema kasi, the basic needs of the evacuees should be done muna. So, usually in the first to the second week, yung mga ano bang kailangan nila? Needs nila water, food, 'di ba? Abode, whatever other necessities. Usually, ang mental health is parang nasa huli na siya.
Yeah.
So, like kami, when we went to summer, siguro on the 3rd week na. Kasi, paano tayo mag-uusap kung hindi pa nabibigay yung mga needs mo?
Oh. Doc, how about sa mga professionals under constant public scrutiny, like journalists, public servants, activists? What unique psychological pressures do they face?
I think it's more the pressure, social pressure to be in or to be out. It's your values kasi can be affected. Your beliefs and your concepts about any political affiliations can also be affected. What else? Ang hirap kasi minsan you have to sway on. Are you going to the storm or are you not going to the storm? Are you going to just free yourself or are you going to join them? So, yun yung problema kapag nasa grupo ka. So, you really have to be strong. You really have to have your moral values intact when you do that.
Considering the political climate nowadays, I don't want to tackle about the politics or political situation, no? But I'm sure a lot of Filipinos right now are anxious that their money or their taxes are just, stolen or ninanakaw ng mga politiko. Di ba?
That's a very natural.
Nakaka-add ba yan sa mental health din ng mga tao?
Yes, of course. Any political problems in a country can make people become what? Angry. So that's an emotion. And that's the fact that if there are grupo, if you join a group, parang you're connected with that, you are kind of envisioned to be a rebel, or you're kind of envisioned to be, trapo yan, or corrupt yan. Kaya nga napansin mo mga kabataan ngayon, they're very, very vocal about corruption yan. Kulong na yan. So, that's how they wanted things to be. Well, I don't know. It's so difficult kasi to make a comment on things that I really don't even know much about it. But for me kasi, expressing how you feel would be good. But the problem is if you're in the situation wherein ikaw ang sinasabihan na corrupt and hindi ka naman corrupt. So I think that's a very bad issue there. Kasi parang nasangkot ka lang. Yun ang problema. Ang problema, hindi, paano yan kung na-label ka na as corrupt, hindi ka naman corrupt. So, yun ang problema dun.
Okay. Doon muna ako sa mga tao na nag-worries. Anong mapapayo mo dun sa mga taong, I'm sure they're very worried about the money. Kasi naghihirap, nagbabayad sila ng taxes.
Are you saying about the people?
The people.
Well, anyone who would feel like na nawalan sila ng pera would be angry. That's a natural emotion. Ikaw ba nawalan ka ng 1 million, hindi ka man magagalit. Magagalit ka talaga. Paano to? Hindi lang 2 million, billion, trillion. You'll get angry talaga.
How about to the politician or to let's say leader or official na tag na corrupt but is not corrupt?
It's so hard to be labeled already kasi parang a lot of explanations, parang it would not remove their image from that. So, mahirapan sila.
It might also affect their mental.
Of course,
Oo.
it can be affected.
Siyempre, sasabihin ng mga tao na, ay,
Oo.
pinasok mo yan, ganun. I mean, may papayo mo dun sa mga ganun?
Well, ang hirap mag-prove kasi if you are already connected with the corruption. Again, this is the political arena wherein it's so hard to talk about, no? Kasi we don't know what's true or not.
Yeah.
And we leave up to those who would examine it, who would be a group wherein they would say, tama ba to? May kukulong ba or what? Mahirap. Yeah, so
let's leave it to the legal.
I think we could not make comments at this point kasi there are already groups no connected with it, no.
Yeah.
But like for example, I speak for the students who feel bad about parang nanakawan sila ng edukasyon or sa mga like us workers na trabaho tayo 24 oras pero ganito
Buwis
pa na
natin.
nangyayari sa atin. Ang laki ng buwis na binibigyan namin sa gobyerno. Pero bakit hindi kami, di ba? It's unfair. But
There's a distrust.
Yes. So yun ang mahirap if you have distrust, if you don't believe in the system. Ang hirap i-convince na hindi naman ako ganyan.
But what can you say doon naman sa situation that we Filipinos have seen this kind of corruption scandals long time ago or a decade ago, but still, why is it still happening? And why is it we're still voting or ini-elect natin yung mga tao na may iba pang anong klaseng behavior or attitude meron tayo? Minsan napapatanong din ako.
Problema kasi yung image kasi ng ibang mga politicians na they are artistas or they are kilala in media and in movies. Parang nakadikit pa rin sa mga Pinoy na they are heroes.
Personality.
When in reality, they're not because they're just assuming the rules.
So you're saying that we are personality-centered in terms of voting or electing
More
people?
of an image, ang imagery ng mga politicians, kinikerry natin at maniniwala tayo. Kaya nga, we need the voters to be educated. Kasi if they're educated, it would not be on how they have the role as a hero in the movies. It's more of, we miss the brains of Salonga. We miss the brains of those who are very good in politics. Na parang, nasa na yun? Nawala na eh.
Correct.
And
Like
look at what we are
Miriam,
doing right now.
no?
Oh my God. She's my model kasi Ilongga din siya. Yeah, Miriam is somebody whom I always voted for but they never became the president. Although sabi nga may Celtic siya, but you know, it's better to have somebody who is so compassionate but, you know, loving the nation as compared to those who are making hurakot, diba?
Yeah. Speaking of, diba, parang napapaisip din tayo na, can we say that because dito sa cycle na tuloy pa rin yung pagboto natin sa mga korap, ini-elect pa rin natin kada eleksyon, can we say na uto-uto tayo o nauuto tayo mga Pilipino, mabilis tayong mauto?
That's the reason why we have to be educated. The voters should not rely on the finances that the politicians would promise them before the elections. Hey, we
Vote buying.
magano tayo, hindi na tayo magkunwari. Diba? Bakit pa nananalo pa yung mga taong hindi pa dapat nandyan?
Correct. Vote buying yan.
And not only that, education will really be one of our arms, no, for a better political atmosphere.
Correct. Doc, I know that marami ka pang ginagawa at gagawin, no? Sa ngayon, sa mga experience mo with your patients, may in terms of data, in terms of your own assessment, anong masasabi mo? Are they mas marami ba? Mas maraming bata? Mas dumami na yung matatanda? Paano mo masasabi? Or maraming nagsusolo? Like that?
Ang field ko kasi is more of an adult, no? Ang psychiatry na I'm dealing with, I can say that there are already parang younger na yung mga nagkakaroon ng depression. Younger population. And they're very expressive in that. Since our population is becoming geriatric no, mas madami ng matatanda kaysa sa bata for now. And because of the fact, perhaps that the millennials, they don't want to get married agad, and they would love to have more pets than
And travel.
than having a kid, no? So nakikita natin yung mas madami ng geriatric sa young. Yes, so nung nangyayari din ngayon is that it's a various mental issues. But we have to take care of our young generation because of the fact that there's an increasing trend of anxiety and depression in them as compared to the middle age.
Quick labeling or description. How would you compare per generation? Let's say, for example, boomers, Gen X, millennials, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, in terms of mental health.
Well, the baby boomers, they're the ones who have a high denial towards illness. No? It's not really accepted before. And dapat malakas pa rin sila, matapang pa rin sila. And at times they would shun psychiatric treatment. For those who are millennials, Gen Zs, and the younger ones, I believe that they are more open to talking about mental health. However, we have to watch out for their aggressive tendencies. The millennials are a little bit, medyo quiet sila. But they are the ones who would love to have more pets than having children. Yung mga 30s to no? Talking about 30s. Sila yung ayoko mag-asawa. Mas gusto ko pa mag-travel. Ako mag-asawa, okay na ako may pets, di ba? Yeah. Parang nakikita ko yun. You don't want to get married. No, I don't want to get married. Mag-aalaga ako, blah, blah, blah. Ganun. So they're more concerned about, how their life would live comfortably. But however, right now, I'm just worried about the younger generation.
Meaning Gen Z
parang ang dami
Alpha.
nilang madaming anxiety and depression on their generation.
Ang contributing factors like social media.
Yes. Social media, image of self, drugs, marijuana, especially when you are abroad. Marijuana is very, parang accepted kasi siya Not like here in the Philippines. It's still not a part of the treatment for chronic illnesses. Wherein some groups are trying to open the possibility of making marijuana be legalized kasi nga. But for us, it's a no-no.
For the psychiatric society.
It's a no-no for us because of the fact that you can have, well, I'm gonna speak for myself yet, but I believe we are not yet open to that, or we are not open to that because of the fact na madami naman treatment kaysa sa magbigay ka ng marijuana.
But do you believe marijuana can also medical study?
If the Filipinos are very good in controlling their aggression in pursuing or having this kind of treatment, why not? But for me, it would be very difficult.
If maging hindi na makontrol.
Yes.
Just like what happened in
Kasi
Thailand.
it's an addiction. It's a dependence. It's still a no-no for me as a psychiatrist.
On that note, Doc, in Thailand, they're the first Asian country to legalize marijuana. I think that was 2 years ago lang. And now, they're regulating it again because hindi na nila na-control.
Mahirap yan.
Mahirap.
Kontrolin siya.
Okay, Doc, thank you for your time. Ano po ang inyong final message, especially those sa mga kababayan po natin na may mga pinagdadaanan, may mga problema, not just as an individual, pati rin po yung mga pamilya. Diba?
Yes. Kailangan din na hayaan natin na dumaan siya. Pero importante na sa pagdaan ng depression and anxiety, nandun yung pamilya mo na gagabay sa'yo. Kasi habang pinagdadaanan mo siya, kung may mga kasama ka, mas importante na puno yun ng pagmamahal, pag-alaga. And let us be kind to people. Let's shun social media na nakakasira sa imahe ng isang tao. And we cannot judge people. That's the only thing that you can do. Don't judge people. And don't ever say na you know them. And please don't spread yung mga content creators kasi they're fun of you placing it in their social media for the fun of it or for the likes of it. Please, let's show compassion.
Dapat magpuso pa rin tayo, no?
Importante.
Alam mo yun na nawawala sa atin sa social media.
Importante, balik natin yung values ng pagmamahal, pag-aruga, ang Pinoy mentality na walang maiiwan at walang mawawalan. That's it.
So what is happening in social media is un-Filipino. Like the cancel culture, it's un-Filipino. Toxic social media, it's un-Filipino. Bashing, trolling, it's un-Filipino.
It's inhumane.
Inhumane.
Kasi I cannot say un-Filipino eh. It's so mahirap. But for me, it's inhumane. So don't be a part of that culture. I can call it un-Filipino. I call it inhumane.
We have to remind our viewers, everyone, that mental health is a continuing conversation. Right? We have to encourage them.
We have to make mental health. We have to make mental conversations.
Yeah.
We have to make conversations of the mind as a normal thing to do. Because if we talk about how we feel on a normal side, then there would be less, sadness in this world.
Yeah. We have to encourage everyone. If you are undergoing mga emotional distress, we have to encourage them to reach out.
Yes.
If they need help. You have to talk to someone.
And you're not alone.
Talk to doc. Find doc.
You're not alone. You look at me at St. Luke's.
Yeah. And please, seeking help is a strength, no? It is not a weakness. So if you have the courage to go to doc or to go to doctors, hindi po yan kahinaan. Yan po ay pagiging ang lakas ng loob mo, katatagan, na ipakita kung anong katotohanan. Sometimes we really have to find the truth.
Yes.
And finding the truth, it might be hard sometimes.
But it's okay if you have somebody who cares for you.
Yeah.
Kailangan ipagpakita natin pagmamahal. Ang Pinoy kailangan nagmamahal, hindi nag-iiwan. Hindi nagbabash.
Correct. Yeah. Thank you, Doc.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for the time.
You're welcome, JV.
Again, mga kabayan, it was a very heavy conversation, as I mentioned earlier. We touched on sensitive issues, and if anyone is in crisis, please lumapit po kayo sa mga professionals, sa mga doktor, tulad ni Dr. Bernadette Arcena. She's in St. Luke's Medical Center. Huwag po kayong mahiya, huwag po kayong matakot. Lumapit po kayo. Again, this has been The R.Y.T Show on Record. I am JV Arcena at ito po ang Totoong Kwento.